everybody. We're back with another episode of Generally Speaking. And today's topic is going to be built around a request. I had Mitch Nelson and Michael Huggins. We went out to lunch one day. We had a great conversation, and we were talking about lead generation. They said, okay, Bob, what did you do? How did you do it? And I said, well, I didn't do roadside signs, I didn't do flyers, I didn't do billboards, I didn't do, ads and this and that and the other thing. Now, that's not to say that I didn't do them. There were times I certainly tried them because I thought, well, if I'm going to tell others about these different ways to generate leads, then I need to do it myself so I become proficient at it. But that's not where I principally spent my time. I am definitely a guy who doesn't want to spend any money for advertising, generate any outside efforts for advertising. I didn't want to go do roadside signs. I didn't want to go do flyers. I didn't, that's just not me. I'm really good at connecting with people and networking and meeting folks and working, lists of warm market. And then of course working those folks' lists that become a part of my team. So I gave them the 200 names training. Now what's the 200 names training? It's really simple. Here's what it amounts to, is that every single person out there, psychologists have said that the average 25-year-old can put down 2,000 names. 2,000 names of individuals when they have the proper memory joggers to assist them in making that happen. Now, when I say memory joggers, that could be, neighborhood lists, church directories, high school yearbooks, college fraternity lists. It can be so many different things. But you use good memory joggers. Maybe it's an occupational list so that you think about, okay, who do I know that's an accountant? Who do I know that's an attorney? Yeah, that's just the A's, right? Think about occupations. Immediately your mind goes to, oh, well, I know so-and-so or so-and-so. You write them down. Now, the reason why I said, the 200 names training is because I'm not saying put 2,000 names down. Let's just start with 200. Just 200, that's it. But make sure that you sit down with 200 names and get them on a piece of paper. Use the memory joggers, that'll help you. And then what happens is identify the top 25 people on that list you would most like to be in business with. 25, top 25. And then what you want to do is get with your 1-star or 5-star affiliate and say, hey, I went through Bob's Generally Speaking training and I put together 200 names. I'm ready to start working those names and I'd like your help. Call them up. They'll be thrilled to know that you got a list and are inviting them to work that list with you. So what do? Get them engaged. Have a conversation about the top 25 that you've identified. Get them on the phone with you, and then 3-way into that conversation one of the individuals who's on that list. Hang on, I gotta push that ladder over, it's rattling. It's a great thing about being in this truck, man, I'll tell you what. It keeps you awake. Anyway, so now what you do is you get them on the phone with you and your 1- or 5-star affiliate. The conversation goes something like this. You're going to introduce your 5-star, okay? So you're going to introduce the affiliate. But you're going to do it in a way that won't make the person you have just called feel like they've been ambushed. At least minimize that ambush feeling, right? Because nobody likes that. So if I were the individual making the call to my buddy George, here's how it would go. I'd say, ding-a-ling-a-ling. Hey, George. George, it's Bob Snyder. How you doing, buddy? It's so good to hear your voice, man. Hey, George, there's a reason why I'm calling today. And I want to make sure you've got just a minute. Have you got a minute to talk? See, I always qualify for time because I don't want to get somebody who's in the middle of something that feels rushed and is feeling like the conversation's forced upon him. So once I've got George who says, yeah, Bob, I got a few minutes right now. Awesome. George, I've been having a conversation with a friend of mine who's had a tremendous amount of success in his own business. And, you and he have a lot in common. And as I was, kind of catching up with him on his business, I told him a little bit about you because, well, got a lot of respect for you. And he asked if I could get you on the phone for an introduction. So I hope you don't mind, but I want to introduce you to my friend Eric. Eric, this is George. George, this is Eric. That's it. It's pretty simple. And then Eric's got to be really, I guess, conscious of George's feelings at this point, because the one thing that your 5-star, your 1-star affiliate must take into account is that they don't want to do anything to damage the relationship with you and one of your top 25 people, right? So they're going to be overly sensitive to that. So what Eric is going to say to George at this point starts out with edifying you and building on that relationship, and say, you know what, George, I'm so glad I got this introduction. I mean, Bob was just sitting here telling me so many flattering things about you that I got to tell you, I'm impressed. I just asked him if I could get you on the phone for a live introduction, because I never miss an opportunity to meet someone of high quality and caliber. And I hope we didn't catch you at a bad time or anything, but I do have something that I want to be able to run by you, kind of an idea. See, I'm in real estate, and right now what I'm doing is I'm actually helping people better understand how to be a real estate investor for themselves. Have you ever thought about investing in real estate? You have? Well, that's fantastic, George. Listen, I know I was in your shoes at one time. I was trying to figure it out. I've watched all them late night TV commercials and all the other stuff that goes on, and now there's so many different reality shows on real estate because, well, it's a really hot topic, and there's an awful lot of interest around it. Well, I did it when, the interest was still there, but what I did was I went to some of the guru trainings and the guru boot camps, and I listened to their spiels, and I just realized that was not the environment that I wanted to learn in. And then I had a friend of mine who introduced me to this amazing company. I mean, a company that builds local communities of real estate investors, a company that has, right now about 28 different practitioner instructors that have put together 55 full-day classes on real estate investing. I mean, these guys really have a great program. And they built a local community right here where we live. This Saturday, they're doing what's called a property tour. Now, I know you probably never heard of a property tour before, but they're doing one of those this Saturday. And I was just talking to Eric about joining me at that property tour. And as we started to talk about, real estate investing, that's when he brought your name up. And I said, well, come get George on the phone and let's see if we can't invite him to come along too. I got an opportunity to get you in, and what a property tour is this. It is a chance for you to actually walk through a fix and flip that one of the students of this company is in the middle of doing right now, live and in person. You get to talk to the owner, you get to find out how they found the deal, you get to find out what they did to it, what they didn't do, why they didn't do certain things, how they're exiting out of the deal, what kind of profit potential is there. It is such an incredible experience because it's not theory, this is reality. And if you've got an interest in real estate or learning more about it, we would love to have you come and be our guest at this property tour Saturday. Can you make it? That's it. See, it's really not complicated. It's not a well-polished script. Matter of fact, the conversation changes every single time you have it. But what it does is it opens up dialogue with someone Eric just introduced you to. Now let me impress something upon you. See, if you are 1-star or 5-star qualified, and you have people on your team who are not yet qualified, their leads are your leads until they become qualified. That's right, their leads are your leads. But an introduction from them helps to bridge the relationship gap so that you have more power, more influence, and more credibility with their guests. One of the best ways to expose someone to this incredible business is a property tour. Invite them on down so they can see just how real the Renatus educational system is and why they would want to be involved with it. Let them meet other people from the community that are doing deals and that have capitalized on this incredible training. Let the reality and the credibility of what we do, how we do it, and the results others are getting settle in so that they open their mind to more possibilities and want to learn more about Renatus so we can drive them from event to event to event. Well, that gives you a little heads up, a shortened preview of the 200 names training. 200 names, identify the top 25, get your 1-star, your 5-star affiliate involved so that they can get on the phone and help you make introductions. And then it becomes, kind of while you market training. In other words, you're going to listen to them, you're going to learn from them, you can take copious notes, and after you have listened to them, contact and invite your guests while you're on the phone 10, 15, 20, 25 times. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to learn how to do it for yourself, and once you master doing it for yourself, you're going to be able to learn how to do it for others. And that's when your business kicks into high gear and you get massive duplication. You can take that to the bank.